On behalf of the Cambridge Youth Panel, we wanted to acknowledge the help and support of John and Faye Dutton, who allow us to use their premises for our studio, and to Neve Sweeney and the National Education Union, and the Police and Crime Commission, Daryl Preston, who funded the equipment that we need to make this podcast possible.
Just so that we should we just introduce who's in on this conversation?
Probably, it might be a nice plan.
Well, that's a good plan, right? So I'm Phil, and sitting next to me is
Jonathan. Hi.
I'm Molly, over here, yeah. I'm Natty.
And I'm Hannah.
and then on the phone we've got
Angel, that's me.
cool, right? So, shall I start by introducing what the moral dilemma is for this podcast? So, we're going to talk about a few things today because obviously it's the New Year podcast. So we'll talk about a few things, but one of the things that we really want to get into actually is this idea of moral dilemma. Okay, so I found, or I was notified about this tweet on my feed. I'm not going to name the person who tweeted it out, but you know the tweet's in the public domain, and the tweet said, "Annoyed and proud at the same time. Daughter 16 has been ditched." Inverted commas, by boyfriend of 2 months as she has said no. Stand by yourself. If it's not right, say no. And by the way, I have your number, boy. It's not okay. I was like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot happening in that tweet. And I wanted us to have a look at it because actually it opens up like a whole spectrum of different issues that are very, very relevant to people who are like 16 years old and that. And I thought, let's talk it out and see what the general perception is, right, of what's going on here. There's so much happening in this tweet, right? So, and I guess everybody's got an opinion on that tweet. It's a little bit of an incendiary one, but I was going to say, let's throw it to Molly first.
Why me?
Because, like, I know Molly has got, like, a strong sense on this one. So let's...
Do I? Really?
Yeah, let's start with Molly.
You know, before we even talk about the issue with the actual relationship and the guy himself, the fact that this mum has gone and taken her, you know, her teenage daughter's relationship and her life and what, as a teenager, something that would be kind of, like, that would be a massive thing in her life, and gone, do you know what, I'm going to tweet about it. And it's not any of the mum's business whatsoever. So, you know, I feel like the mum's probably not... No, the daughter's probably not best pleased at the moment. I would feel kind of like
I wonder if the daughter knows. I wonder if the daughter knows that this has been put out
I think
there.
that's a big thing. We don't have any of the background, so we don't know if the daughter knows. And we don't know if the daughter has said, yeah, no, that's fine. Tweet about it.
Right.
Go for it.
And I think that's a big moral issue in this. Is like, you know, I guess I look at this from a perspective of a parent, right? Okay, because like obviously older generation, kids and that sort of stuff. And I'm thinking, would I tweet about my kids' relationships? No. I don't think that's something that you put out there.
I know if my mum did that to me, I'd be furious. Yeah.
How would you feel about it, Hannah?
Yeah, wouldn't be happy, but my mum doesn't use Twitter, so neither does my dad, so it wouldn't be an issue.
No, they're all over Instagram with your love life. So is that the first thing that jumps off the page at you guys? Jonathan, what's your thought?
He's been
Right, okay,
Right.
let's go straight for the swear words then.
That's fine, we can cut bits and pieces out.
Bleep, that's
We
alright.
can bleep.
Right, okay.
We should have a bleep button there.
Well,
so
we
can
do.
lie.
Which one do you want?
That's not a
That's
bleep.
not a bleep. We can load out with like a
I'm aware
1,000
that these aren't
hertz
bleeps,
feed.
but like we don't have a. We have a foghorn. We can edit over with a bleep. It's alright.
We have a foghorn. Let's go with the foghorn.
Is it that one? No.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So if
Headphone
you're listening to
There we go.
if you're listening to the podcast for the
That
first
hurt my
time,
eardrum.
we don't know what's going on. We don't know how to work this machine. So let's just
We're just talking and hoping for the best.
and
Hello?
there's that. So anyway, so Jonathan, you've referred to somebody as a who's
The guy's
the guy,
the guy is being
right? Because
like surely your relationship shouldn't be founded just based on that.
Okay.
right? Like, you shouldn't just be placing yourself in a situation where it's like, oh, you said no rights, I'm sodding off then, right? Goodbye.
But it's as much as I think the way that it's put, as in like she's been ditched because she has said no, that doesn't sit right with me. We don't like it's his choice to whether if he wants a relationship that's purely based on sex and he has put that out there and she said, okay, well that's not what I want. He has a right to go, okay, well that's not what I want.
We're
It's
not
not going to work.
compatible, right?
We don't know how
Yeah.
twisted the story from the mum's end has been, and we don't know how twisted it's been from the daughter's end either.
Personally, if somebody was going to be like that, I wouldn't want to be with them. So I'd rather they left than that.
Yeah.
The actual
But
side, yeah.
also, you don't know how much the daughter has told her mum.
Right.
Because I know most teenagers wouldn't turn around straight afterwards and go to their mum, oh yeah, so I wouldn't, so like, he wanted to have sex with me. Like, I don't know how open, you don't know how open she would be with her mum, how
Yeah.
much she's told her mum. And then the final thing is, obviously, she said, as she has said no. You don't know what she said no
Right.
to, and obviously we assume, and we're probably correct in our assumptions, but
We
we
don't.
don't know.
Okay, so let me just ask Angel, who's on the phone. Angel, you've got a fairly
Yeah.
strong opinion on this. What's your take?
I feel like the whole mom thing coming on and putting all the blame on the guy is not right. Because like I understand that he wants sex in his relationship, and that's on him. That's okay. That's good for you. But then as what like I think Molly or Hannah said, if a guy only wanted sex from the relationship, I would rather like have him go away than still stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he is being like unfairly put on the internet because of what his opinion is or what he wants.
I kind of got the impression that she said no and he took no for an answer, and that's actually what that's the message that we should be giving to guys, right? No means no.
Yeah.
And he's heard no, and he's actually, it sounds, I don't know, has he asked her more than once? I don't know, we don't know, but she said no, and he's evaluated it and said, well, actually, that's something that's going to be an important thing to me, it's a big deal, I don't think we're compatible or whatever. But what I get the impression of, there's a kind of an undertone of the way in which he's done it. Has he done it, did he do it in a mature and gentlemanly way where he sat down and said, okay, we want different things and that kind of thing? Or has he like gone, if you don't do this, I'm going, and then he's flounced?
Yeah, and obviously we don't know the whole story because like, this has come from a mother, and the fact that she's gone and told her mum, we assume the fact that she's gone and told her mum that this is why he's left me. Oh, she's probably gone and bad-mouthed him to her mum, and her mum has taken it to Twitter. However, you don't know his side of the story. From that tweet alone, from that information, I would go, oh, well, what the girl is in the right, the mum is weird and annoying, and the boyfriend is a bit of a but like, she could have, not been a very nice girlfriend. That could have been like, he could have broken up with her for a completely different reason, and she's gone, oh, it's because I wouldn't have sex with you, isn't it? And then she's gone to her mum, and her mum has gone to Twitter, and that's the story we've got.
Right.
Like, we don't know, but the fact that she's told her mum this makes me think she might be a little bit like...
But the question that I've got is, let's say, they've got a relationship it's not just about sex. There's let's say it's a strong, healthy relationship in lots of regards, right? But it says they've been together 2 months, and he obviously wants to have sex and she doesn't. Okay, and he decided to walk away from that relationship. Is there something wrong about that?
No. Don't think so.
Not inherently, but I'd say, like, taking it at face value, the use of the word ditched seems like... I mean, I get he has every right to do that, right? But the use of the word ditched doesn't imply, like, oh, I'm really sorry about this, I don't think this is working out.
And
it implies
I'm
going now.
I agree.
Goodbye.
However, from the perspective of the mother, all the mother will have seen is like a broken-hearted teenage daughter. So the word ditched, you don't know if that's kind
Come
of
from her somewhere
is
else.
that her vocabulary or is it what actually happened?
Is that coming from the daughter? Is that coming from the mother thinking she's seen or heard the full story and been like, oh, this is the word I'm going to use? Because like the exact word you use does matter, right? Like left versus ditch, there is a difference.
I mean, the other thing that kind of struck me, I was like, what does mum want? Does mum want the boy to stay with her daughter and like just keep asking her or something? Or like, what does she think would be the right thing for the boy to do in that context, for the guy to do? What would that be?
I feel like the boy can't win.
Right?
I feel like if he was to stay with her and then pressure her into sex, then he would immediately be made the villain, because absolutely he should.
I'd find that more problematic,
Definitely,
right?
but it seems that because he's decided we want different things in this relationship, so I'm going to communicate with you and tell you that I don't want to be with you anymore, and they've walked away. Surely it just feels like whatever he does, it's not right.
Right.
And I think also this is obviously a teenage relationship, but for example, if this was like two adults, and we were looking at it and her saying no, perfectly acceptable, but him being like, I want to be in a serious relationship, where especially at 16, we don't know how old he is, but we assume he'll probably be a teenager as well.
Yeah,
but him wanting to have a more serious relationship and explore himself while he's still a teenager, that's an acceptable thing for him
to want to do.
And so though it might be hard, he might have just been like, but I'm ready to go on to this next step, and if you're really not, then maybe we should find different people, which him.
I mean, there's a question that I want to sort of put into this as well, is it kind of trivializes how easy it is to break up with somebody, right? It's like, it's not easy to break up with somebody, right? It is not. And there's like, I get sometimes that there's a presumption that it's easy for guys to like break up with girlfriends and that's all cool, and this ditched thing is like, it's so easy, right? And actually, like Natty said about this boy can't be right, is like, how does he get this right? And are we asking a lot of like a 16-year-old guy to not only do the right thing, but to do it in the best possible way? It's like, that's a lot of weight on somebody, right? If you sit down and go, I'm really going to hurt this person, and I don't want to hurt this person by breaking up with them, but if I'm going to be emotionally honest with them, that's what I'm going to have to do. That's a heck of a...
Yeah, breaking up with someone is really hard, like...
And he's 16, he's still figuring everything out.
Exactly, and he has to learn. Like, sometimes these things come with experience. Like, they come from what you see around you, and if you're 16, you still have to, as Hannah said, you still have to, like, figure that out.
Don't have anything else
No,
to say.
but like, I think there's a point that like in some of the dynamics, there's a presumption that it's different on different genders and whatever, and I just think it's equally hard, irrespective. Whoever wants to end a relationship, that's a huge weight, and it's a really hard thing, and you have to kind of take a deep breath, and it's a really, really hard thing to be that honest. What about this I have your number boy thing?
Well, she's just openly made a threat on the internet to a teenager. Like, that's never going to be okay. And the fact that everybody's... Well, I don't actually know, I've not seen it, but the fact that, people have brushed over that bit. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't, I don't know. But if they have, that's not okay. And if they haven't, well, that mum's going down then, isn't she?
Angel, are you still with us?
Oh yeah, I am. Hi.
Angel, what do you make of the I have your number boy? By the way, it says.
That's like, I feel like that's like really threatening to like the guy, and he hasn't even done anything that wrong, in my opinion.
I didn't know whether she meant that in that kind of colloquial term of I've got your number, or whether she's like, I've got your telephone number, or something even more sinister like that. I was like, woo, that's so sinister and shady.
Yeah.
There's a follow-up tweet. I don't know if you saw. There's a second tweet.
Oh, hang on, hold.
There's a second tweet.
Hold.
Right.
There's a
it's
second tweet.
not that different.
Right.
But it might clarify some things.
So she
This is still
tweeted
from the
twice
mother.
about this.
She tweeted. Well, no. She tweeted.
Mum's
3
doubling
times.
down.
She tweeted 3
Mum is a
times.
savage.
She tweeted the original tweet twice for some reason.
Literal double down.
Like half an hour apart for some reason. And then she followed it up with, "Oh, 16-year-old boy who refused to take no for no and so ditched my 16-year-old daughter, ellipsis. There are some books you must read. At Dr. Jess Taylor also. I have your number, full stop, and name, full stop, do better."
She's repeated that I've got your number and name thing.
And name. Like,
Basically,
Just
I know
an
where you
open
live.
threat.
like at that point, there's no ambiguity that
This
is
is
intended. That's the
horrific.
way that it's intended.
Like, this is one step away from her doxing him.
Did she name
No.
someone?
Oh my! This was sent at 1 a.m.
This woman was on a rampage.
Wow.
Wow.
That's 1 o'clock this morning.
Um,
No, that's yesterday.
no,
Yesterday
morning. 1 o'clock yesterday morning,
Someone's Christmas
which is
didn't go
like.
over.
Someone did not
so
have
the
a good
original
Christmas.
tweet, right?
Yeah, someone didn't
So
get what
the
they asked for.
original tweet was
I think-
first tweeted it because like
I think the mum is like has mixed up emotional support to the daughter and like no for no.
Right.
Yeah,
She's got
what's
them
her
mixed up.
message? What's
Oh,
her
wow.
message? Because she was like, the boy refused to take no for no, so ditched her.
yeah. Hang
But
on, I'll pull
surely he
Yeah.
took no for no, and
Yeah.
that's why he
Yeah.
ditched her.
I've
That's
just-
why he went.
Looking at
Yeah.
who is
What
sending
does she
this,
mean?
this like what I'm saying right now is probably going to be cut from the final recording.
I love a moral dilemma. I just think it's we should have tea and everything. It should be brilliant. So anyway, stirring our little teacups. It is New Year, right? And naturally, I think that what would be really great in this podcast is if we could go around and think of like one of the if we each came up with the best thing and the toughest thing from 2021.
With the youth panel, or like
No, like individually. That'd be like no way, no heart.
Yeah, no, I think we're
You wouldn't do
no.
No?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on a minute. Now this is the podcast everybody wants to hear.
and I think everybody
Keeping up
would,
with Molly.
except I would get murdered.
Oh
I mean,
my
the intonation on the
goodness.
word.
I was thinking less close to home than that. I was like thinking about like, it was pretty tough doing GCSEs and the COVID kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
do that.
Like you guys are like straight in the like, oh my goodness.
That was a long
Not gonna lie to
time ago.
you,
A lot
Phil.
more trauma has
We
happened
haven't
since
had great years.
then. Yeah.
We've got Molly, Natty, and then me.
Right?
Right, next question, next point.
No, we can do the best things. Let me
We
just
can
do the-
Let me just think of one.
Let me think.
Let me
What-
just
what
find
happened this year that was moderately not bad.
Okay,
Anyway.
but on the bright side, at the beginning of the year, we didn't have this fantastic podcasting and video studio that we're now sat in, right? That's like one good thing.
I
Like,
love this podcasting studio.
so,
Same.
Jonathan, what's been the best thing about 2021?
Yeah, let's all focus
There's,
on Jonathan. I'm going
oh,
to turn
thank
everyone
you.
else down. Jonathan, go.
Oh well, thank you for lowering everybody else's volume. I didn't know if that was necessary. I don't know, less COVID rubbish.
Well, it has recently just increased.
Sorry.
so-
Jonathan, was that less COVID rubbish?
I don't know. It felt.
It's definitely got worse.
It's got worse, but it
Doesn't
felt like
everyone I know has COVID apart from the
Right.
people around this table?
I phrased it.
Yeah, no, we all have.
Well, Natty's like ready to jump in on the
People
COVID
giving
thing.
less.
Sorry, how is it better?
Because there's a vaccine, and this time last year there was no vaccine, or at least there was, but like 3 people were
Okay,
vaccinated.
speaking about vaccines, let's talk
That's a
about
good
that
point,
woman that
actually,
rang you
Natty.
up and told her she needed to go get yours.
What's that? Somebody
like to share
phoned
this
you up.
This woman rang me up, and she was like, "I'm from the government." I was like, "Okay." She was like, "I see from my records you haven't had your second vaccine. Now, why is that?" And I was like,
That happened.
yeah." And I was like, "Well, actually,
Is that?
that's a really interesting question." And obviously, that's not
Nobody
gonna
gets
get busy.
recent while she has had her second.
Yeah, she's been in hospital, you know, it's been a whole thing. And she's like, "Oh, why does that mean you can't get a vaccine?"
I was like, because I can't physically get to a vaccination centre, that's why. She was like, oh, really, really? Well, do you think you'll book one? And I was like, yes. And she was like, I don't really trust you. We're going to do it on the phone right now.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I was like, I'm not lying.
To be fair, I think collectively,
Make
me and
this
Natty
up.
have quite a few doctor stories of them being a bit.
That's
I
insane.
I don't know if that's like quite all right data. Like what? Like
I was
Oh
a bit
my
phoning
God.
you
Like an
one-on-one.
agent.
and under 18 to be and then to
that-
be like,
I don't
I
know if
don't
that's
trust you to book your
legal.
own vaccine appointment.
Is
Oh
that
my
legal?
God.
That doesn't sound
And let's
right.
and just to be like perfectly clear on this, right? Like around this table, this is not an anti-vax rant,
No.
right? But Natty just clarified it's brilliant that we've got a vaccine, and I agree with her.
I've had
Yeah,
both.
absolutely.
I'm fully vaccinated.
I've
But
had
the-
I got my first vaccination today, this morning.
No way! Oh my god.
How are you feeling?
It hurts.
Okay, let's do another take where we go, how are you feeling? And you go, better than COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Something
Okay, 3, 2, 1. How are you feeling?
It hurts.
Oh,
Or just
Angel.
bleep it out.
Right,
Those-
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we bleep it and everyone just assumes she went absolute
Actually, I think the whole vaccine thing is a really good point, but what happened to you is that's not good.
I was like, that's just surely that's not in her list of
Yeah.
responses.
Yeah,
Training.
well, to be fair, I don't think they have a set list of responses if we think about what that woman said to
Like,
me and
if-
when I was having my ECG.
Oh my God, like what? I just don't find you trustworthy. That, like, what?
It's like,
Like, I don't think you're a trustworthy person. And you're like, I'm really sorry about that. Well, I'm afraid
been on the phone
But
to
the
you
thing
for
is,
2
any-
minutes.
I'm going to need some
met-
collateral.
Anyone that's met Natty knows she's one of the most trustworthy people you could ever meet.
This is the
And she's like,
crazy thing.
I don't trust you to not book your vaccine.
And Natty's like, and I think you've got trust issues. And who phoned who here anyway?
Sorry. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Who hurt you? What did they do?
I'm so gonna do that the next time someone rings me up. Oh, so I have a problem. No, I think you have a problem.
Oh my word, just flip that round.
It's like either that was signed off by somebody higher up, in which case that's really bad,
Or
it was
just
not,
maverick.
and that was
Just
really
maverick.
Or just like
this is intense, okay?
the inverse of an anti-vaxxer.
Bad. It's
Yeah.
like,
I have the needle.
I
Go.
have
like
the
I
needle, I
didn't
don't
expect-
trust you to come in voluntarily, so I'm going to send a squad to go pick you up.
The-
Right?
no.
The police will be at your door in about 5 minutes. They have a right of
dangerous to
entry. They're gonna
society.
drag you out of your house
No.
and
Have a
bring
warrant?
you
No,
Let us in.
there's a sniper in the bush.
with a dart gun.
He just shoot you through the window. Ka-dunk. Oh. Right. So we got vaccine in there,
Yeah.
right?
Yay.
What was the best, Hannah, for you for 2021? Come on, be positive.
Hannah got an amazing set of GCSE results.
I did get
I'll
some.
say
I
that.
did get some.
She got some incredible GCSEs.
I did get some good GCSE results, but so did everyone here. Well, except for the 2 that didn't do GCSEs, but
Yeah, I
Yet.
didn't.
yeah.
Might we just
And
add that in?
more to the point, when I did do my GCSEs, my results were toilet. They're absolutely toilet, right? So I just about scraped onto my A levels, and when I did, my English teacher took me to one side and actually said, after the Christmas exams of the first term, he said, why were your GCSEs so bad? And that's when he told me, I only let you sign up for this course because I expected you to leave within the first few weeks and we'd get the funding anyway. And I was like, that's how bad my GCSEs were. That's, you know what I mean? Do not, like, seriously?
He said that to you?
He said that to me.
Wow. I mean,
Did not expect me to. They did not. They had me marked down as somebody that they did not expect to finish finish their A levels.
Surely that's out of order.
So,
Surely
are
they're
you
not allowed
okay?
to say that.
They can't
should
say that to you.
nurture and build up each
I think he
student.
meant it. I think he meant it in a positive way because what he was saying was,
Whoa! Look how far you've come. I
"Wow,
did, like,
look, you're so
no
much better
way.
than we thought you
Yeah. Yeah.
going to be. We thought you were going to be garbage.
Yeah.
Angel, what were you saying?
I was just asking if you're okay.
Oh no, I've never been okay. I think you know that now.
Phil's quite a way past that point.
Yeah, long way. I've forgotten what that looks like. But yeah, Hannah, you did. In fact, you all three of you did. Despite the COVID pressure and all of that, you still came out with like really great GCSEs, and you got to choose where you went on post GCSE as a consequence of that. That's not to be taken for granted, surely.
Yeah, that is true.
In the context.
No, but given what's happened since, I feel like we can all agree that feels like over a year ago.
When you said, like, because was GCSEs really this year? Is that
It doesn't feel like
It
it
was
was
less
this
than
year.
6 months ago.
Are you sure?
It was like
Are you sure? Because that feels like years
That's
ago.
wrong.
I feel like I've
That's
been
wrong.
I feel like I've
lot
been
has
doing this
happened.
whole
Now,
sixth form thing.
One of the
for quite a
things
while now.
I want to like ask you guys actually, right? Because I say to people who are pre-GCSE a lot and they're going into their final year and they're in maybe in year 10, they're going into year 11, they've got into year 11 now, and I'm saying you are not going to realize how much your life is going to change within like that moment. You get the GCSEs and then everything's different. How different is it post GCSE?
From the perspective of like life has changed, it's so much better. Like I mean, I'm obviously sad because I'm not. I'm not at school with these lovely people that are next to me anymore. But you know, the actual everyday-to-day life, the lessons, the environment, I prefer so much more. And I think about how toxic secondary school was in comparison. And I'm like, oh my god, I would never like to go back to this. I would never like to go back to secondary school again because you know it is so toxic, and it is, you know, everything is judged, and like I can rock up to school and just kind of be me and then go home, and it's a lot more free. I spend a lot of time just kind of very far away from my house, just kind of
Vibing.
the world is my oyster, you know.
Right.
I completely agree though. Secondary
Liberating.
school, it is surprising to see. I mean, it was close to Christmas was the point that I was like, bro, secondary school was toxic, man. This is a whole different world, because it was like the last day of before the Christmas holidays, and I had my reindeer antlers, my headband in my bag, and I was like, I'm not going to wear it on the bus. I'm not going to wear it till I get to school, because you know what? If I'd been in secondary school, the rules would have been I was allowed to wear a headband with reindeer antlers on. It would have been an issue with the teachers, but I would not have heard the end of it from the other students. I would have been absolutely mocked for it. And I get in, and I wasn't even the only person with them. And I'm just like, this is peak. I have reached my peak. This is amazing.
You're right.
And I wore reindeer antlers all day, and it was great.
Yeah, and I think it's like now it's just like you can just kind of be who you want to be, do what you want to do, and I know it sounds cliche and like cheesy and whatever, but you can. And if you don't want to speak to somebody, you just don't. Right?
Yeah.
If you you know, if there were people through secondary school that you didn't get on with, that bullied you, whatever, you just don't have to go to school with them. You don't have to speak to them. I mean, I go to school with a lot of people that I didn't get on with.
And
in
you just
secondary
do
school,
you.
And I just, you know, I just don't see them. I just, you know, it's fine.
Can I just throw in like a message of hope? Because although like my GCSEs were toilet, I got really, really good A levels. So I got to go to a really good university. So it just shows you like, if you are in that point where you're feeling in a low ebb, because I felt like a really low ebb after my GCSEs. I felt like I really let myself down. And then I really pulled it for my A levels, because I suppose in a way that was the kick up the backside that I needed, right?
Wow.
Well,
She's gonna have to.
I was just going to ask you one more question though.
One more question.
Right.
Make it a short one.
Should schools lock down in the new year because of Omicron? Like people are like diving out of windows for that question.
My speedy answer is maybe it would be a sensible idea, but I really, really, as selfish as it is, I don't want to do my A levels in lockdown. I will not. I'm Christmas break. I'm struggling with not seeing people, so I, you know, I do not want to have to do the next few months of my work.
Real quick then, do we think that people have underestimated the impact that lockdowns have had on young people specifically?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like
Yeah.
this is a really tricky one to answer because everyone is like all the adults and stuff. They're all like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, no, you've had such a hard past. Like you've had such a difficult 2 years." You know, like loads of teachers and stuff I talk to, they're like, "Yeah, no, I completely understand. It's been a really tricky 2 years and stuff like that." And I'm like, "Great, but what are you doing about it?" They say that they know and they acknowledge that it's been difficult, but what are they doing about it? I've not had someone come up to me and offer me, I don't know, whatever I need. I don't know what I need.
And it's like, but to be fair,
But-
it's similar. Like, I don't know about you, but at my sixth form, they were like, everybody have a really lovely Christmas break, have a lovely relax, have a lovely time to just chill. And the teachers are going to take a well-deserved time to put their feet up and also relax. And why have I got 7 piles of homework that are probably piled to my ceiling?
We had an assembly on the last day of term and they go and they're like, "You've had a really tough 2 years. We know you have mocks on your first week back. You have mocks on your first week back, guys. Mocks on your first week back.
But relax.
We know you
have a
have
good
mocks on your
time.
first week back, but it's fine, guys. Relax over Christmas. You should be doing 7 hours of work every day. If you're not, you're doing something wrong. But relax, guys. Put your feet up. You've got this.
Are you
Don't
are you
overwork
getting-
yourselves. But if you're not working to the point that you can't sleep, you're not doing enough."
No, I'd say the message is very, very confirmed right there. do you know?
right.
You know?
So, Natty, your take on lockdowns?
I think people admit that the 2 years were hard, but I think the long-term impact of the lockdowns is massively underestimated. Like what school, I think, although some people don't enjoy it, it provides stability for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It gives young people routine. It gives them, it socializes them, and obviously their support when they need it. And I think to take that away and put it in a virtual format was really hard for a lot of young people. And so then trying to go back into schools and try and reintegrate young people back into the life that we were in before is even harder because
Also-
we've been so not used to it.
It's been so like we just don't know what's going to happen. Like I'm sat here right now and I can't say with confidence that I'm going back to school
No.
in January. I can say I assume I'm going back to school in January, but I would have also said that this time last year. And this time last year, I didn't go back to school in January.
Yeah,
This time last year, if you had sat me down and said, "Oh, are you going to sit your GCSEs?" like as the formal sit your GCSEs, I would have gone, "Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I am." I did not sit my formal GCSEs. I did 37 exams. I did my GCSEs. Don't get that wrong.
Right.
Because I didn't sit my GCSEs, and that was in air quotes by the way,
And
everyone.
obviously,
But
you have the whole difficulty now because we are the year. Oh, you had a really hard time. Oh, that's a shame. I'm really sorry, but you didn't really do your GCSEs. So I don't see how it can be that stressful.
They sort of, a lot of people invalidate what we did, and they're like, "Oh, but you didn't really earn that."
Yeah.
Like,
My
we did.
wrong.
and it's so great for people who overthink, because I overthink a lot, and so when people tell me that, "Oh yeah, but did you really earn those grades?" Because I mean,
Oh wow, that's
Hannah,
harsh.
'cause
That's
like-
not fair.
Hannah,
you sit
you
there and
didn't
you're like,
stop.
No.
Me, Natty, both
No
of you.
way.
You two did not stop
Neither
for 5
did,
seconds.
No.
neither did you.
but this is the thing. I learned
So you
perfectly
did.
fine at home. I did the same.
No.
I learned the same way at home that I did at school. The only thing for
We
me that
were-
was difficult was I didn't socialise with people, but I learnt the exact same way. And I still used all the help that I was given that I don't feel I needed. So it's like if I actually sat my GCSEs, I wouldn't got those grades, you know?
Well, I actually,
and it's like people invalidating that for me doesn't help because I'm already doing it for myself.
I remember us going to a certain large Scandinavian furniture company that I'm not going to offer free sponsorship to.
IKEA. IKEA.
So, and you was sat like regurgitating like formulae for like
Oh my god, yeah.
right in the back, like going, "Oh, this means that," and like this, and then this and that, and I'm driving to Milton Keynes, thinking, I think this sounds like a mental health crisis. I'm not gonna lie, right? I don't think anybody could have done more. I don't think anybody can tarnish what you guys
No.
achieved.
But it's like
because of lockdowns.
They
I think
filled
it
my
was
head
harder
with
because
so
of
much
lockdown.
information, and I'm like, I had just finished GCSEs, and I was like, I don't need to know any of this, but I could tell you exactly how this works.
Sorry, this was after GCSEs.
This was after
We were
GCSEs.
so formless.
This was
After
like-
I remember you because
I
you
was
got
like,
some results that came through that day. Was that right? And
Yeah.
something came through in the car on the phone, right?
Yeah,
And then
I think it was like iMedia or something.
and it
yeah,
was like
iMedia.
I
basically
didn't get
it was like a psychological trigger for Hannah to go back into GCSE physics.
I don't know why, but I couldn't like it was. They had spent so long ingraining that
She
information
had a
into me.
flashback.
And I
it's
was like, I don't
pointless.
need it
All of it
anymore,
is
but it's
pointless.
in me. And I can
Your
still
revision-
say Q equals I over T. Although I
Right.
don't actually know
No,
if that's
don't do
right.
that.
It's like
Just
Q equals
speed-
IT or something like that.
Just a speedy note. It's all useless. I've forgotten it all already, but please
No,
do
no,
your
no.
revision.
It's
Please,
not
everyone
useless.
do their
Definitely do
revision.
your revision.
Yeah, guys, relax. But if you're not doing 10 hours of revision every day, then you're not doing enough.
Okay.
And if you
And
can
on
sleep
that
if you can sleep at night comfortably, guys, you're not doing enough.
Can we end on a cheery
Yeah,
note?
can we end on
I'm kidding.
What's the cheery takeaway to start?
I did less than 6
2022?
hours of work every day and I was fine.
Right? And then, to end the podcast, what are you looking forward to in 2022?
2 straight legs.
Joking, don't put that in.
That's so going in. That was a killer line.
No, you are cutting out all of the bits
Oh,
where we say
God.
we are
All
we're-
the stuff that gets the laugh is going.
it's
This
going.
is going to be the worst
This podcast is just going to be me sat here
So
for 10
dry.
hours going, if you're not doing enough work, go to your desk right now.
Molly, what's 2022 got for you?
Oh, I know. I'm hopefully going on holiday, but that's if the world doesn't shut itself down.
Where are you going?
Well, currently it's not looking too good because Morocco have shut their borders.
Okay.
So,
Morocco would be nice.
potentially.
That's
But
amazing.
from a youth panel perspective, I think we've got a lot to look forward to. I think we've got some good stuff happening. We're going to hopefully finish our documentary on gender equality and get that out and do our gender conference, which could be really, really amazing. We've got a play in the pipeline about county lines and criminal exploitation. Natty sits there being all like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know
I had
about
nothing to
that."
do with this at all.
I'm so embarrassed.
Right. We've got a lot of computers surrounding us at the moment that we're going to get out to very deserving people who need that help and that support, and that's going to go out there as well.
And our Christmas tree, guys.
Our
The
Christmas
the baubles have multiplied. we have.
It's straight
You've
as
got
well.
We have 5 baubles on our Christmas tree.
And
Wow.
And it's and an iPad. You know.
a really old iPad that doesn't work.
But it's
So
an
we put it in the
iPad.
Christmas
Yeah.
tree.
So,
So actually,
you know it's looking up, guys.
and the last thing that I would say is if you're listening to this podcast and you've decided to bear with it all the way through, right, and you get
Well
to the end,
done.
Thank
right,
you.
thank
You've
you.
won a prize.
You-
The
no, you
prize
haven't.
is your
Careful.
own satisfaction of having listened to the entire podcast.
So, and you want to get more involved in CAMS Youth Panel, you can visit www.camsyouthpanel.co.uk and you can email us at camsyouthpanel@gmail.com.
Whoop
Cool.
whoop.
And check us out on our Instagram.
Yeah, camsyouthpanel.official. Our Twitter is Cams Youth Panel. Our Facebook is Cams Youth Panel. Basically, everything is
Yeah.
Cams Youth Panel except for Instagram, which has .official on the end.
But we are the only, no, never mind the official, we are the CAMS Youth Panel.
Yes.
Definitely
Whoop,
get in touch
Okay.
with us because we do correspond.
Cool. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.